Jasmine was a very dedicated, loving mother who would do anything for her children. And she had many aspirations to be in the medical field. And she did complete medical school. However, she was unable to make her graduation, unfortunately. She wanted more for her kids. She would do anything and everything, just to see their smiles, on their faces. She was a great cook. Her kids loved her food, especially her Mexican food. She just, unfortunately made some bad decisions for her life, and which led to this. I want everyone to know, I want the public to know, Jasmine was not a drug addict. Jasmine recently started using drugs. She's 35 years old. She went almost her whole life being drug-free, almost never drank, hardly ever smoked, hardly ever went out. Her kids were her life. So I want the public to know, there's a lot of bashing online. Her kids don't appreciate that because that's not who their mother is. And I want everyone to know she was a good person, she had a good heart, she was very bubbly, she had a lot of friends, a lot of people who loved her. And she took, the wrong path, unfortunately, which led to this inexcusable circumstance and death. So.
And how many kids does she have?
Jasmine has 8 children. One she gave up for adoption at a young age. The rest she ended up keeping, and 3 are older, and then she has the other 5 that are younger, so.
And you said that she recently started using them. So what led up to that?
Being in a toxic, abusive relationship. Every time, she started medical school, every time she wanted to try cosmetology school, she did nails, she learned how to do nails, she was a fast learner, she was very smart. The people in my family are not dumb, we are intelligent, and she was just as intelligent as my sister and my brother and, everyone else in our family, and she was capable of so much more. She just, could not, she was just held back, She didn't want to leave a toxic relationship because of the children, I'm sure, and that's what held her back. Just a very abusive, toxic relationship. We have tried, to help her over the years, over the last 10, 15 years. We have tried to help her to get out of that situation, and she just would not accept the help. She just would not leave, or wasn't allowed to leave. I don't know what happened all behind closed doors, but our family definitely has tried to help her, to help relocate her. She just didn't accept the help. Her father's girlfriend offered to take the little ones so she could work more, and finish her school and all that. She would not leave the kids there. So it's unfortunate. I would like to publicly say on behalf of our family, I would like to apologize to her children, all of them. We failed your mother as a family, but we did try. We did try. Over the years, we tried. We could have tried harder, for sure, but we did try. I want to thank all of our close family and friends and the general public and the poker community here in Texas for all the love, the kind words, the condolences, the genuine condolences from perfect strangers even. The children definitely appreciate that, and it is not going unnoticed. We are wanting to still make sure that the kids have a good Christmas. Amaya, the second oldest, has started a GoFundMe page. You can find that on Facebook. So thank you to everyone who has already contributed to that. I will be working diligently, doing a lot of legwork to get more information. We're piecing things together. We will be filing a lawsuit. We have requested all the necessary documents so we can get this case together. We are taking the proper steps and seeking to be represented by Gomez Law Firm here locally in San Antonio. We have a couple options, however, that is our first option. I will be acting as the family representative going forward with this lawsuit against the Bexar County Jail. Whoever is at fault, whoever was negligent, will be held accountable. No one should die the way Jasmine died. Someone should have heard her. Someone should have helped her. This is an inexcusable death. If my niece, who was almost like a daughter to me, I helped raise her along with my mother, Nana. We are okay with knowing that Jasmine may have sacrificed her life to help others. There should no longer be any more deaths here at the Bexar County Jail while any inmate is incarcerated. Jasmine can rest in peace knowing her ultimate sacrifice for others will help her kids, so her kids won't go down the wrong path. They will have a better future, and she'll have made a difference in this world. I know she wanted to be a better person, a bigger person than what she was, and I know she wanted the best for her children. I think that's most of it. Again, I want the whole world to know that Jasmine was not your typical drug addict. She was an amazing mother. She did not make the best decisions for her life, but she owned up to them, and she did what she could. She sacrificed her own happiness. She sacrificed her own safety to keep her family together, whether it was a broken family or not. I always knew she was strong enough to endure a lot, like myself. She just wasn't given enough time. The Lord chose to end her suffering. She was tired. She was tired of struggling. She was tired of scraping and moving from place to place. It's time for her to rest now. Please keep all her beautiful children in your prayers and hearts, and respect their mother on all these social media outlets. Please show your love and condolences by using the hashtag Justice for Jasmine. And in closing, her oldest daughter, Jalissa, is at a loss for words. She asked me to speak on behalf of her mother, but she wanted to thank everyone for her for the prayers for all her siblings and for herself. No more inmate deaths here in San Antonio, Texas, Bexar County Jail. That's it. Thank you.
And Jasmine was arrested Friday. Do you know what led up to her being arrested? Like, how did she get there?
So she was charged with criminal trespassing. Initially, we thought that she had been trespassing to see her kids. From what we understand, she hadn't been able to see her kids, and that was definitely causing her a lot of heartache and pain. The last text message thread that Jalissa has with her mother is saying that she's nothing without her children, and she misses them so much, and that they wouldn't let her see them. Apparently, the father of her children has a new relationship and has had the kids for 6 months. While we completely agree and understand his reasons for not allowing the children to go with Jasmine because of her habit, that doesn't excuse him keeping the children from her. We even understand him not allowing her to see him unsupervised. But if he was keeping the children from her, keeping her from actually even seeing them or giving them a hug or giving them a kiss, I'm sure that led to more drug use, because ultimately she went into a huge depression. Like I said, the last text message from, between her and her oldest daughter, where she was saying, she's nothing without them. And I know the feeling of having your kids, being, temporarily taken from you. I had a similar divorce issue, not with the courts involved, but I know that feeling. You want to go crazy as a mother. Your kids are your life. So I just assumed she started using more drugs, and to cope with the depression of not being able to see her kids or even hug her kids or even possibly even talk to her children. We're still finding out more details from her ex.
And Jasmine had a rough last year here. What kind of drugs did the past year make her turn to?
So she actually got incarcerated I got a call about 2.5 months ago, and we were already trying to help her. I had told the officer who called me, I said, no, we want to keep her in there. We want her to sober up. She needs to sober up. We are not going to bail her out. We're very much about, Jasmine was partially raised by me. Anybody who knows me knows I'm very strict. I brought up my kids very strict, and I'm a very tough love kind of person. And as hard as it was to say leave her in there, that's the choice that I had made for my family, for my mom, and they had a program that they wanted to put her in, which would require a bracelet. And I got the cost, I got all the information, and I said, okay, give us about a week or so, and we'll get back with you. We were planning to have her in a program that was going to be out of the city. We didn't want anybody, whoever was responsible for putting her onto drugs, we didn't want them to have access to her. We didn't really want them to be able to, be mobile to get to her. So we were going to have her in a rehab place in Dallas or in East Texas. That was another option. They offered Round Rock, and I said, absolutely not. It's still too close. We want her at least 4 hours away, and we will drive to her. And at that point, when she sobers up, then we can do more for her and help her. Unfortunately, an unknown party bailed her out. We weren't aware of it, and she went back to the street to, get back with her drug habit or her boyfriend, whoever introduced her to that. Certainly nobody in my family uses any hard drugs like that, so did not come from our family, that's for sure.
So
maybe a new boyfriend. We have no idea. So.
And when Jasmine was initially arrested, who called her, who did she call in the family, and do you know what the last conversation was?
I would assume she reached out to Andrea, which is her sister-in-law, even though she was never legally married to Andrew, the father of her children. They were very close. From what I understand, that's how we found out that there was a fight that broke out in the magistrate, when she was in front of the magistrate with another inmate. So that's another route that we need to investigate, because she could have suffered injuries from that fight that was in public, and then when they incarcerated her, they did not, give her any medical attention or checked on her. They're saying that she died, she was already dead for 3 hours in her cell, and no one had checked on her. So we're definitely going to be, getting those surveillance cameras, footage, all that, of all the neighboring cells, inmates who may have heard anything. I just don't see how they could find someone dead in the morning and, not check on them at all, So I'm sure when we get the medical examiner's report, it will have exact time of death. They found her at 9 a.m. So we'll know a little bit more once we get that information.
And if Jasmine had not been arrested, do you believe that she would still be alive today?
Jasmine would still be alive today had the unknown party not bailed her out, and had she not been arrested most recently. Because I know Jasmine, I know that my mother and I, being so close to Christmas, we would have been reaching out, trying to get in touch with her so we could do something for the kids, so we could do gifts and things like that. So, she probably would have been like, okay, I'm going to come in, and we would have found out then that she didn't even have the kids, that she wouldn't, she wasn't able to go see the kids. So of course I would have followed the law and told her, no, we're going to go over there with the police escort, because he cannot harbor your children. He cannot kidnap them, essentially. And you have to be able to at least see them. So at that point, we would have been in her corner and been able to help her. And this should have, again, this is an inexcusable death. I'm very eager to hear what the authorities here at the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, what their explanation is going to be, because that's all it's going to be. It's
And so far, have they said anything to you, or have they said anything to the family about what happened?
No, when they delivered the news to us, they asked us to meet them, and they said that they just found her in her cell at 9 a.m. and she was unresponsive. They claimed that they were waking her up to take her to a medical appointment. It was too late. Excuse me. It was too late by then.
Do you think there's more to the story that you're not being told?
I do believe there is a lot more. I do feel there is some neglect, some negligence within the system behind those bars, behind those walls, right there. And I just urge anyone who has any family members in the county jail currently, as of this past week, to reach out and call their loved ones that are incarcerated for any details. You can find my Facebook page, NVZEE. My Instagram, NVP_ZEE. Please send me a message with contact names, numbers, any information that you may have. I will be compiling everything for the lawyers. So that would be greatly appreciated. The more we know, the stronger our case will be.
And so far, are the lawyers advising you of anything? Do you think they have a case?
The lawyers want to wait until we get the coroner's report. And they strongly feel that there is a case of neglect for sure. a wrongful death.
And is there anything else you want the
A
world
completely, what could have been completely avoidable death.
And is there anything else you want the world to know about Jasmine?
Just that she had a huge heart. She had a huge heart, and she loved her children with every ounce. With every ounce.
And if you could say anything to your niece right now, what would you say?
Jasmine, you were like a daughter to me. You used to call me mom, you and your brother. And sometimes I wish that I could have adopted both of you as well and raised you like my own with my children, Brandon and Jordan. But, you know, life happens, things change, and you may have had a different life. May have had an amazing, great life with us. However, you know, everything happens for a reason, and you wouldn't have all your beautiful children that you have today. So, I think you were put on this earth to create some beautiful, amazing little human beings, and you did that. You executed that very well, and you did what you could for them. And we all know that you were a great mother and wanted so much more for your children, and we all love you. And your dad is very disappointed in himself, and he knows he should have done better.